If y'all knew the scope of what I looked like in this exact moment in time, you would not be listening to this podcast. And I'm not telling you to click away. I'm just telling you where we're at right now. First and foremost, I have to apologize for any and all mouth noises that you hear. They're not mine. I know how to exist in front of a microphone. They belong to Muffin, who's sitting right next to me. I did try to get her to go somewhere else while I was recording because I know sometimes she gets fussy and ridiculous. But no, she has decided that on this couch right next to me is exactly where she needs to be while I'm recording that. So also she's wearing a green sweater. Sometimes I do wish I videotaped myself while I was recording this podcast just so you guys could understand the exact vibe, but I think I do a good job painting a word picture. Also, I'll get into this in the meat and potatoes, if you will, of the ketchup bit, but I have a test shoot tomorrow. But the reason that's relevant to how I look in this exact moment in time is because I have a face mask on my face. It's a clay mask. It's awesome. I'm going to leave it on for about 20 minutes, and then probably in the middle of recording this podcast, I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to swap them out for under-eye pads. You guys know those, right? The things that people put on their faces that make them look like crazy. Yeah, I'm going to put those on. And we're doing self-care while I'm recording the podcast. Hope that's cool with you guys. I invite all of you to also do skincare and crazy self-care things while you listen to this if you don't already. But anyway, the ketchup bit. Let's debrief January, which is a little bit weird for me right now because I actually am recording this closer to like the middle of January because the end of January is going to be crazy because my birthday is coming up. So like I'm doing a bunch of stuff over the weekends at the end of January, and the last weekend of the month is usually when I record the podcast. So we're doing it a little bit early. I'm turning 27 this month. That's pretty cool. I feel like I'm finally being forced to say that I'm in my late 20s, which is weird. I always say that I'm not afraid of aging, and I'm not. I always say also that everyone around me who's in their 30s is hotter than they were when they're in their 20s. So everyone who is in their 20s who's afraid of turning 30 doesn't understand that and is stupid. I invite you all to also, again, I'm inviting you to do more things. I invite you all to also adapt that very specific thought process to aging and life. But I don't feel like I'm in my late 20s. I don't know. Sometimes I still feel like a teenage girl. Is that weird? Is that odd? I feel like that might be a universal experience. If that's a universal experience, let me know. I also just recorded my first YouTube video yesterday, which like if you're watching this, it means it's probably been released and is on the internet. And if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. I genuinely am working so hard on it. There's a lot of moving pieces. I wrote a whole script. I highlighted the script. I kept track of how many shots I would need, all different kinds of things. I really made like a teeny tiny mini little baby short film, and I'm so proud of it. And I hope everyone likes it and watches it. There are some people that I'm still waiting on to figure out like if they're going to be able to get me a video to put in the video on time. So I'm not going to mention people who are still kind of up in the air right now, but like I can tell you about people who were in it. That like as of right now who I have the clips from, that's like, I mean, like Julie and Kim. Like I feel like people probably think that was like a difficult thing. The most difficult part about getting Kim and Julie to do my YouTube video was to gather the courage to ask them and decide that it probably wouldn't be annoying and insufferable and they wouldn't hate me for it. Which I know sounds ridiculous. I know they wouldn't hate me for asking them to do something. But it's a weird thing, you know, like I don't want them to think that I don't care about them as people and I'm just like using them for whatever. But like, and I know they don't think that, but like it took me a bit to like gather the lady balls, if you will, to ask them, but they were both just like, absolutely, totally. Kim, I actually wasn't sure about because I know she's really busy, but like I asked her to record one sentence and she quite literally improv'd and riffed and sent me all the clips from the farm and all that stuff. So I was like, hell yeah. You know what? So I actually reworked the script because Kim gave me so much material to work with. That was super awesome of her. And Julie gave me like a bunch of takes, which was really awesome. And the take that I ended up using in the video was a take where she messed up. Like she said something, like she said, we're making a YouTube video. And like the line that I had written was, Emmy's making a YouTube video, but we're making a YouTube video. Oh, sorry, Emmy's making a YouTube video. That's way funnier. So I just used that. And she actually sent me the clips and she was like, hey, so I actually think the one where I messed up, I think that's the best take. And then I watched all of the takes that she sent me and I was like, no, yeah, she's right. That's so fun and creative. Like, let's go. And speaking of Julie, this month we did Cafe Boo virtually on Instagram Live for the first time. It was so much fun. I hope some of you who are listening popped in for a little bit. It was so great. That was also my first time actually speaking to and like adjacently, kind of, not in person, but like meeting Amy, who plays young Mary on Supernatural. And since then, we've struck a bit of a camaraderie, if you will, through social media and all that stuff. She's so unbelievably great. She's so kind. She's so supportive. She's so wonderful. As are all of the women on Supernatural. I had a moment recently where I was like, damn, I really ride so hard for the women of Supernatural. And then I had another moment where I was like, man, the women of Supernatural kind of ride really hard for me too. And that means so much. And I love them all so much. I love women. And is it one of my podcasts if I don't talk about how much I love women? I don't think so. And then finally, I know I mentioned this like a minute ago, but I have a test shoot tomorrow. I'm so excited. I feel like, because I've talked a little bit on my podcast before about how I feel like I'm struggling to get jobs. I think it's because of, like my agent said, she was like, I feel like if you grow out your bangs, that'll help. And so I grew out my bangs, and now my hair is finally at a place where I kind of have bangs, but like not really. Like I have side bangs, but like not really. So I think tomorrow getting new headshots, a full set, and great photos without bangs, I think that's going to help. I also am so excited to have pictures that look like what I look like now, because I feel like the pictures that I have don't really look like me, which is why my current profile photo on all of my social media is a photo from JCPenney when I did a photo shoot with my sister for our mom for Christmas, because I feel like that's the picture that looks the most like me now. So having a photo that looks a lot like me is going to be so great. And I'm probably going to use one of them as my profile picture. It'll probably just end up being my favorite one, but I'm really excited. I feel like I also need to be better about posting things that are more model adjacent and actress adjacent, so that way people who come and see my stuff don't think that I'm only posting about cats and a fictional show from the CW network. You know what I mean? Not that I'm going to stop posting about that stuff, but I feel like I need some variety. Is it just me, or did the catch-up bit go fast this month? Because now it's time for the feelings bit, but I feel like we just started the catch-up. It's fine. Okay, feelings bit. Hi, guys. My name's Emmy. Welcome to the feelings bit. We're going to talk about rediscovering passion this month on the feelings bit, because I feel like I've done that a little bit. Let me start from the beginning. Towards the end of last year, there was Rhode Island Comic-Con, and then I did Emmy Angels, and then it was like Christmas and the holidays and all those different types of things. And I felt like I always had specific things that I could talk about or post about on my socials, and I had been posting about the cats and all these different types of things. I felt like I kind of had an idea of what I was doing, but like, I feel like the day after Christmas, I lost that momentum. I felt like I didn't know what to post about because I didn't have any live streams planned, really. I didn't have any cons at the time planned because I didn't know what I was going to do this year. So I felt like I had no idea what I was posting about. I was still posting every single day, but I felt like it wasn't cohesive. I saw I've said this before that I try not to like give too much of a shit about the numbers, but I saw when I was going to cons consistently and doing all kinds of stuff, and I felt like my social media stuff was cohesive, my follower count was climbing up consistently. And then around the end of December, it really got very stagnant. It got very static. It stopped moving. And I hate, like, with a passion, having to care about that number. But at the end of the day, I mean, that is the number that is going to get opportunities, right? So to see, not only did I feel like my content wasn't doing as well as it had been, to see the evidence of it not doing as well, it really, like, it hit something in me. And then in the beginning of January, I was like, I really don't know what I'm doing. I had the Cafe Boo stuff with Julie. I thought that was really great, but I just felt like things were falling flat. And I'm not saying that, I don't say that things were falling flat in like a numbers kind of way. I felt like things were falling flat for me, like, creatively. Like, I really wasn't super proud of a lot of the stuff that I was putting out. I had talked to my mom about it over the couple of weeks where that was an issue, and she had asked me, like, do you even really want to be doing this? And I was like, well, I mean, yes. I just had to figure out what was up with me. I was like, why is this happening? Why am I so not myself right now that this thing that I loved so much isn't bringing me that same, like, fire? Like, I'm not as lit up about it as much as I'm still doing it, and I still do enjoy it. I didn't feel the passion that I had been feeling. And this sounds crazy, but I really did think I was bad at it. I was like, I just must suck at this now. Like, I don't know what's happened. Like, I've made decisions about what conventions I'm going to this year, and that's affecting me being able to talk about conventions and plan about conventions. And I'm like, now that I don't have that, I don't know what my content is, and I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, cool. So I actually, like, I really was spiraling. I was like, am I even doing this? Am I like, what is going on with me? And then I started working on my YouTube video. And the premise of that YouTube video came from when I was laying in bed thinking about that rut and thinking about how I told myself I was going to start YouTube this year. And I'd started Googling ideas. Genuinely, like sitting on my bed, Googling what videos to do for your first video on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. And then I heard myself, like, to me, I went, girl, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? You have never Googled video ideas ever in your entire life. And now all of a sudden, 15 years into making videos on the internet, now is when we've started looking up ideas to try and copy what other people have done and try to not be as different as you've always been. What now? Now is when we're doing, okay. And something in my stupid goblin brain clicked and I just went, that's the video. That's it. That's the video. So I wrote this script of past Emmy and future Emmy basically yelling at each other and having the conversation that I had with myself. And suddenly, as I was writing it, other people were becoming involved and I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to ask this person. And I spent like weeks really building this concept of a video idea. But even as I was doing that, like I was excited about it, but even as I was doing it, I was like, I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a chore. I feel like maybe YouTube's not for me. I don't know. Maybe I'll do, and I feel like that resonates in the video. Like I talk about it in the video or past Emmy at the end. It's like, can I even do this? But yesterday when I was recording it, it had never been so clear to me that I could. Do you know what I mean? Put a pin in YouTube for a second. I was so on autopilot with post a video every day on Instagram and TikTok and make it work. I wasn't challenging myself anymore. Like I was just kind of doing what I always do. And it's become so autopilot for me that I wasn't excited about it the way that I had been. But I yesterday spent a couple hours recording those parts for the video, and then immediately after, I recorded a YouTube video because I was having so much fun recording things that day. So I edited a video announcing the live stream that I'm going to do on the 25th before Kim's thing with Momentus. And I was just so creatively lit that day I spent so much extra time working on that video. And it was so much better than a lot of the other stuff that I've posted. Granted, I don't think that video did as well as some of the other stuff that I've posted, which I don't really understand. The algorithm is weird, but I felt so much better about that video because I had spent more time editing it and I had fun with it and I really tried to make it interesting. And then I was editing my YouTube video after that. I really spent the entire day yesterday. I don't know what happened. It just like, I started recording that YouTube video and I went, oh my God, I forgot how fun this is. I forgot how fun this is when you're challenged and you're doing things different and that you're making it work. So that's the point of the feelings bit today. If you feel like there's something that you loved, and think about your own life for a second. If there's something that you do that you love, maybe you used to like making jewelry, maybe you like making content, maybe you like music or playing an instrument or something like that. If you feel that passion kind of fading, see if you can actively look for a new way to challenge yourself, because that's such a good way to reignite passion. At least it is in my experience. At least it was for me this week when I recorded that video, because I really feel like I'm back in a weird way. I really was struggling with it, which I know I do a very good job of not making sure people know that I'm struggling with that kind of stuff. But I was really having a time where I was like, damn, do I even deserve what I have? Should I even be doing this stuff anymore? But I feel so back, you guys. We're so back. Challenge yourselves creatively. It'll reignite your passion and it'll make you feel things and it'll be great. Let's now get into the Rex bit. I'm going to try and be brief during this bit because I have a lot to talk about. I watched a lot of movies. I watched a lot of stuff. There's a lot going on for me with things to wreck and talk about. We're going to start with movies that I watched at home this past month or so. And Bugonia? Guys, let's talk about Bugonia. Did you guys watch Bugonia? I know you can't answer me. I'm going to pretend there was a loud chorus of yes. Okay, cool. If you haven't, let me briefly explain what it's about. It's about these two guys who think that a CEO, that's basically like the girl version of Elon Musk, if you will, they think that she is an alien and they kidnap her. And that's the premise of the movie. That's all I can tell you without giving too much away. This movie is a fucking ride. I loved this movie. Emma Stone, you deserve all of your flowers. You probably won't get them, but you do deserve them. My favorite thing about this movie is that because it's fictional, like obviously if this happened in like the real average everyday life, like if this was a news story, you would know, like obviously she's not an alien. But because this is a fictional film, you spend half the movie trying to piece together whether or not she is an alien. At least that's what I did. I was like, okay, like, so Obviously these guys are fucking crazy, but like, is she an alien? No, she's not an alien, but like, could she be? But like, I don't know, it's fiction, so who knows? Like, it's a really fun movie. You are gonna want to give it your full attention though. I know everyone likes to like scroll on their phone while they're watching a movie. I say I did that for the first maybe 10-20 minutes of the movie, but as soon as she gets kidnapped or whenever it is, I forget when it is in the movie, but as soon as that happens, you're like, oh, suddenly I am just violently invested. And my phone went away and I became a new person watching this movie. I became a new person. My attention span was insane. My ADHD cured itself. It was crazy. This also happened with Sinners, which I finally freaking watched for the first time. I loved Sinners. I thought it was a little bit slow in the beginning, but once it picked up, again, phone gone, locked in. It was crazy. I've been wanting to watch that movie like since it came out, but my music producer Chris, when I was in LA last June, I was working with him on my song that's coming out, and one of my songs that's coming out in June. This upcoming June. And while we were working on that song, he was like, oh my God, Sinners is an amazing movie. You have to watch it. And I was like, oh my God, I totally do. Yeah, I didn't watch it until quite literally this month. Like, I didn't watch it until January. I really do care about people's recommendations. I just suck. I just suck. Movies in theaters. I watched Song Sung Blue on New Year's Eve. I went to the theaters with my mom and my aunt. At the ripe age of 26 years old, was the youngest person in the entire theater. It was hilarious. And it was a crowded theater. There were a lot of people in that's where the older people go on New Year's Eve. They hit the cinema. And you know what? They're right for it. I had a great time. I love going to the movies. Song Sung Blue itself was really great. It's not a movie that I would have gravitated towards because I don't really know much about Neil Diamond. And this is a true story about a couple that started a Neil Diamond tribute band. I will say though, they marketed it as like a sing-songy, fun, cutesy, little high energy, blah, blah, blah musical. It's a very emotional movie. Like, it was kind of a tragedy, honestly. So if you're not into that, maybe skip it. But I did enjoy the movie. All the performances in it were fantastic. I also, twice, saw Avatar Fire and Ash. All right, guys, listen. I know I haven't stopped talking about it, or I'm just on a constant loop of Avatar Fire and Ash. The more I think about it, the more I think that this is my favorite Avatar film, which is kind of insane. Because I love the Avatar films a violent and insane amount. So for me to decide I think that might be the best one is a big deal. It's a big deal. I will say maybe my hottest take about Avatar Fire and Ash is that everyone who because I watched it and I loved it and everything, and then I went online and because as you do, I hate the internet. I wish I could just I can develop opinions without the internet, but I hate having to think about other people's opinions as a way of finalizing and articulating my own. It pisses me off because everyone online was hating on Spider. Why does everyone not like Spider? I mean, if you've seen the Avatar movies, you know what he did at the end of the second one, and that's not cool, but he's just a kid. He's like 14, 15, I don't know. I forgive him. And again, without spoilers, Jake does basically the same thing in the second one. So I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm just a Spider defender. I don't know. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. I love all the characters in that movie. Jake Sully has always been and will always be my favorite character in the Avatar movies. I will also say, though, Lo'ak grew on me in this movie. I didn't love him in the first one, but I loved him in the second one. I'm hoping that'll continue happening with the other kids, because I do love all the other kids, but I feel like the more they have these more intricate storylines, the more that we're all going to fall in love with them, and I think that's great. Heck, maybe that'll even happen with Spider. Maybe everyone will eventually come to love Spider, and I will get to point at everyone and say, see, I was right and you were wrong. Not that that's my goal as a media consumer, but you gotta take the wins when you can get them. Last thing I've been watching this month. Guys, I am finally almost caught up on Abbott Elementary. I am. I had lost interest in that show a while ago. I love it. It's a great show. But I lost interest in it a while ago because there was a period where Janine, one of the main characters, leaves her teaching position and takes an internship at the district and all these different types of things. And I thought that, I don't know, I got bored when they had that arc. So I kind of stopped watching it as religiously as I had been. But this month I picked it up again. Guys, that show hits. It's a good show. Started it from the beginning. Now I'm on season 5. It's a great time. It's a good show. I love an ensemble cast. I feel like in so much of the TV and movie industry right now, there aren't really ensemble casts because it's an expensive thing to have an ensemble cast. But I feel like the Abbott Elementary ensemble cast is so awesome, and I love it so much. And then finally, before I change my face mask and we jump into the fandom bit, I do need to say that I am feeling the biblical presence of the fact that Harry Styles is back. We are so back, you guys. We're so back. It's so funny. I posted about Harry Styles being back and people were like, oh my God, I didn't know you were a Harry Styles fan. Guys, I was in the trenches. I was in the One Direction trenches. What do you think my first fandom was? Okay, Fandom Bit. Okay, my face mask is off. I am currently putting on my, they're so slimy. I'm putting on my eye masks right now, in case anyone is curious. I am doing the aloe vera ones. I have a couple different kinds, but I have a shoot tomorrow, and these are supposed to not only fight aging, which, like I said earlier in this podcast, I don't really give a crap about aging. These are supposed to soothe puffiness and deeply hydrate your skin. So we're going to go with these, and we are going to hydrate my skin as I tell everyone that it's January of 2026, which means it is the 20th anniversary of season 2 of Supernatural, which I know is not as big a deal as the 20th anniversary of the first season, but I do think it's important. I actually made a video about this earlier this month where I was like, hey, it's the 20th anniversary of that one time Jared Padalecki ripped his pants on set. Guys, it's a national fucking anniversary holiday bullshit, whatever. It's a big deal. What's so funny is I tried to think of more stuff that happened in season 2, like before this podcast and before I recorded that other video, and I kind of couldn't think of anything. Like, I feel like I need to rewatch the early seasons of Supernatural. Am I truly a Supernatural fan? Do I know enough about the actual show itself? I say this knowing it's humiliating. If you're playing Supernatural trivia, you don't want me on your team, because I don't know the specifics. I know everything about, like, my favorite episodes. I do. But if someone looked at me and was like, what's Bobby's favorite scotch or liquor or whatever, I don't even know if Bobby drinks scotch or what kind of liquor he drinks. I don't even know. Guys, I'm so fucked up. I need to rewatch Supernatural. Does anyone else feel like that? Maybe it's a 2026 thing. I have another friend who watches Supernatural who's like, I decided I'm going to rewatch it. Maybe I need to get on that bandwagon. I do have a way to. I know it's not on Netflix anymore, but I have both Peacock and my mom has Amazon Prime, so I am able. Also, in the Fandom Bit, I want to talk about Comic-Cons that are happening in March. By the time you listen to this, I will probably have all my shit figured out. Honestly. But in the time of recording this, I'm a mess. I'm trying to hear back on some stuff with GalaxyCon Richmond, because there are some actresses who play Disney princesses that are going to be there, and Tyler Posey and Tyler Hoechlin are going to be there from Teen Wolf. And I know that there's not Supernatural people who are going to be there, but I don't know. People have seemed really excited to see me talking about Teen Wolf. So who knows? Is that going to come through for me? Probably. Something will work out in that way. And even if it didn't work out, of me being able to go there because of social media stuff, getting there and going to that convention would be very easy. I could take a train. My cousin lives down there. I could stay with her, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But Planet City Comic-Con, she's just getting sexier and sexier, you guys. That's a lot more with, like, traveling, though, and it's a lot more for the hotel and finagling, and their press pass thing doesn't even open until frigging February, so I would have to probably book it within the next week or so and figure it out as I go, if I'm going to have to get a GA pass or if I'm going to be able to do press over there with them because of my social media stuff. So it's not smart for me to pick Planet City Comic-Con. Am I probably going to pick Planet City Comic-Con, though? I think so. I think it's probably going to end up happening. This is not a promise, though, if I haven't made a decision by the time I posted this. This is not a promise. But I posted that I was, like, thinking about it, and I've genuinely gotten so many messages from you guys telling me that you wanted me to go and you want to see me, and I'm like, I never go in the Midwest. Like, I feel like I should probably make my way out there. So, I don't know, guys, it's hard being an adult and having to figure things out. Who knows? Maybe I'll be batshit insane and go to both. But if I do end up going both, I need you guys to lock in and tell me that I'm batshit insane. Hope that's cool with you. Hope that's great. Oh my gosh, also, by the time you guys listen to this, my birthday little cutesy live stream thing that I'm doing, that'll be done. And I will have done the virtual thing with Momentus, as an attendee, obviously, with Kim and Amy Bruni and the Queen. I'm so excited about that, you guys. I don't know how many of you are, like, emotionally invested in, like, ghosts and haunted places and all the things, but I think we've all pretty much established that I am very invested in that stuff. I first heard about the Queen Mary from, I'm not kidding, a Shane Dawson video 7 years ago. And I have loved learning about that place and all the haunts and all the things ever since. So for one of my favorite people alive, Kim Rhodes, to be doing a hunt there and all kinds of cool stuff, I'm so excited. It's so funny because this event is like a couple days before my birthday. It feels like a birthday present directly from Momentus. It's like they crawled into my brain and said, what would Emmy love? I will say, though, I got the timing mixed up. I forgot that LA is 3 hours behind us. So when they're doing their hunt, like the ghost investigation, when they're doing that at 8 p.m. LA time, it's going to be 11 p.m. here, and it's going to go for 60 minutes to 90 minutes, maybe longer. And I cannot stress enough that, guys, I get eepy. I get eepy sleepy. I do. I have a very specific bedtime. My bedtime is about midnight every night because I wake up around 8 in the morning, so I get 8 hours of sleep. I am probably not going to get 8 hours of sleep that night, and that is making me anxious. Obviously, I will be fine. I'm a grown freaking adult. I will be A-okay. But let the record show that I will be eepy sleepy while we are investigating ghosts. All right, let's get into the question bit. I pulled some stuff from my Instagram Saturday Q&As. I also tell people that they can email me at bestie.emmy@gmail.com, but I know that it's probably easier to just throw it into Instagram. So feel free to do either. Gray.isnt.real asked what my favorite episode of Supernatural is out of all 15 glorious seasons. And maybe I've answered this before on the podcast, I'm not sure. But I also know that every time I answer this, I give a different answer. And I feel like that's probably really shady of me, as though I don't have a favorite episode. I do have a favorite episode. It just changes, like the seasons, you know? Seasons, like outside seasons changing, or TV series. What am I talking about? Okay, I would say, lately, I have been saying that my favorite Supernatural episode is Hibbing 911. There's other episodes that I used to say, but if we're going by like what episode have I watched and rewatched and obsessed over and can I quote backwards and forwards over and over and over again, it's Hibbing 911 every time. There is something about the animalistic lesbian energy that exudes between Donna and Jody in that episode that tickles every single bone inside of my body. Hibbing 911 is also the episode that people like where, you know, when Sam is like if someone stole the Impala and Dean is like, there'd be torture first, and then there'd be murder. I'd murder them all. That glorious Jensen Ackles improv is in Hibbing 911. So I really do think it deserves to be more people's favorites, and that's why I am saying it is my favorite. And that's been pretty consistent for a hot minute now. Maybe it actually just kind of is my favorite episode. That's crazy. sagelovessart asked if I prefer the Percy Jackson show, books, or movies. And that is a fantastic question. You know why? Because it's nuanced. It's a nuanced conversation, and I love a nuanced topic. My definitive answer of that question is that the books have always been and will always be the moment. That's the book. Nothing will ever top the books. And I think that's safe to say, because I feel like a lot of the actors on the shows and the movie and stuff would also agree that the books are phenomenal. But I also feel like the movies in particular get a lot of flack. They get a lot of shit. Each Percy Jackson book is its own insane thing that is, it would be almost impossible to tell that story in a 2-hour film. And I think the movies did what they could with what they had. They are not perfect adaptations of the books, but I don't think anything could be, like I said. But they tell an engaging story about Percy Jackson and the world of Camp Half-Blood that's very, very connected to the books, despite the fact that it's not completely on the nose. I haven't seen the second season of Percy Jackson and the Olympians yet for the TV show. Not because I don't want to watch it and not because I don't care, obviously. It's because I'm waiting for it to all be out, so that way I can just binge it all the way through, because I feel like that these days is how I watch things the best. But when I watched season 1, I felt like it a little bit tried too hard to be just like the books. Does that make sense? Like, they made sure to include every single detail and every single thing, even if it really wasn't necessary, and sort of mess with the pacing of the show. The example that I'm really thinking of was there's one scene towards the end of season 1, when they're about to go into the underworld, where they go to the mattress store, and that was left out of the movie. And when it happened in the show, but they didn't really do, because in the book, right, Percy and Annabeth and Grover all get on the beds and they get stretched out and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But they didn't do that in the show. They just had Percy and Annabeth and Grover go and talk to this guy, and then he basically let them down into the underworld. And I feel like that was just a really unnecessary thing. Like, I didn't need that scene. As much as I love Julian Richings, by the way, I didn't really need that scene. But it was catering to the people who wanted the show to be exactly like the book. And I think we need to let that go. I think adaptations cannot be exactly perfect, because the pacing of a novel is very different from the pacing of a movie and very different from the pacing of a show. So I think it's a very broad spectrum, but I think the book is the best. Okay, last question. Do I have any super important con tips that I haven't posted about? I do. But I want to make it clear that I'm not like keeping these a secret or anything. Like, I'm not gatekeeping anything from anyone. I'm very conscious about that. I really just want conventions to be for everybody, and I think if you're gatekeeping all the best tips, I think that's counterintuitive. That's not kind to the rest of the community, and that's not what the community's about as far as conventions go. So I don't know if this is necessarily like a standard tip. Like, I don't know if this is like bring water, you know what I mean? But this is more of a bigger scale thing. And I say it sometimes. Like, I think I said it on Emmy Angels, the live stream I did in December. but it's not something that people, like, it's not something everyone likes to digest. It's not something everyone likes to hear, but you asked, so I will say it here. Try not to get too deep with actors when you meet them at conventions. I'm not saying this because, like, they don't care about your struggles or how XYZ thing that they did affected you. I'm not saying it for that reason at all. It's actually kind of the opposite. Like, they really do care. They care a lot. So, like, put yourself in their shoes, right? Like, you're meeting fans, there's like a line or whatever, and then someone comes up to you and it's like, hi, I love you on the show. And they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. And they have like a lovely little whatever, blah, blah, blah moment. And then they leave. And then someone comes up and they're like, hi. And then they tell you something that's really, really, really emotionally intense. And you have to keep the composure and everything, but it's a lot. And they care and everything. And they want to make sure that you're getting what you need out of telling that story and to them and all these different types of things. And then you have a moment, maybe you cry, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. You have that moment, you walk away, and then someone else in line walks up to them and is like, hi, you know? It's just a very drastic mental shift that they have to go with. That's why I always put the stuff that's mushy and emotional in my shit. Like, if I ever want to tell them like mushy and emotional shit, I put that in a card. Because then they can take it and, like, if they want to read it, they can read it, and they can read it somewhere where they won't have to deliver a type of reaction in front of you. Another one that's a little tougher that I don't talk about a bunch is that with photo ops, you can't go in with expectations. That, I have seen that be the downfall of so many people, where like they show you their op and you're like, oh my God, that's the cutest op, and they're like devastated because it's not exactly the photo that they wanted. Go in hoping for a good experience. Don't have a specific exact photo in your head that you're hoping it comes out to look like. And then when you get the picture, be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself, remember the moment over the picture itself. And it's easier said than done, trust me. I've had a couple bad ops that I don't love, but like at the end of the day, all the moments were great. So I guess that's the stuff that I don't really talk about as much on social media, because people hear that and sometimes people get defensive, you know? I mean, I get it. I understand the desire to want to tell, like, if an actor was in a project that like if you feel like it saved your life and it changed so much about you and everything, like, they care. It's just a lot to digest in the moment, you know? Damn, what a vibe to end the podcast on. That's crazy. If I told you guys I still have green little gel things under my eyes, would that make everything better? Would that make the vibe funnier to end on? Because I do. But anyway, thanks for listening to the Yapping Bit this month, guys. I think that's it. As always, stay sexy, stay yappy, keep the bits up, and I will see you all in February. Also, I love you. This is so fun. Yay! Happy New Year! I'm calling this season 2. I think every year it's going to be a new season of the Yapping Bit. So we're in season 2 of the Yapping Bit. It's a new year. Let's do it. I love y'all. Okay, bye.